Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Green Room Podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell in a very colorful shirt over there.
Just got done
And
golfing.
golfing. Okay. And joining us today is Jett Duncan. Jett, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Okay. Do you golf?
Do I golf?
Yes.
I'm
No.
not very good at golf. I'm not even gonna lie.
Do you know if anybody on the team that can golf?
Uh, there's a couple that I think are pretty good. I think Jace Reuter, I think he's pretty good. I think JD might be pretty good. But yeah, I haven't really been golfing with any of the guys because I don't golf. So
Okay. Yeah. If you don't golf, don't go out and golf because I learned that the hard way. You don't just show up.
no, yeah,
Try to swing. That's how they
Yeah.
get you. Well, first, obviously spring is done. With the new coaching staff and everything. What was spring like for you? As you kind of found your spot on the offensive line. Coach Morris talked about you maybe bouncing to center a little bit. Just what was it like for you?
yeah. So I started off the spring at guard for a couple practices, and that I'm comfortable with that. I played that before, and then a couple practices in moved me to center. I played center my freshman year a little bit, so I'm kind of I got used to that. But that's something I got to get used to, like being comfortable in. And I got comfortable at the end of the practice, or like the end of the 15 practices that we had. I started getting really comfortable at it. So wherever, I think I'm more of an interior guy, just because like my height and stuff. So wherever they put me, I think I'll do good and excel.
What are some of the nuances between center and another position on the offensive line?
I mean, center, like you gotta make all the calls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a pretty smart dude. I think so.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I can make all the calls. Then you gotta make sure you snap the ball. But other than that, guard center really the same thing. Blocking wise.
How much did you learn from Manasseh over those first few years?
A lot. He like after practice he'll stay with all the centers. I was there. He teaches us a lot, like just steps and stuff.
Yeah. Because that's one thing we were obviously with Manasseh gone. The interior offensive line was a question for us to try to figure out. I think Eric Morris also said, just trying to figure out the right combination. Because obviously bringing some transfers on at tackle and guys like that. How much did spring help y'all just get comfortable as an offensive line and with new guys step in? And how much did you see y'all's depth kind of show up?
Oh yeah, all the new guys that came in, they stepped up. But the starting five that we kind of had, we've all kind of been here, so we kind of all like know how each other play and stuff, which kind of helps with like the chemistry, because we can rely on like the person next to you when it comes down to it.
Obviously, with Eric Morris coming in, there's lots of changes to the offense. For someone like me who doesn't really understand the nuances of the offensive line, what changes went in when Eric Morris came in, or did any, in terms of the way the offensive line works?
Yeah, so it wasn't really that much of a change. There's some different calls that that just have like different names and stuff, but really it's all the same plays. Really, it's just like different calls, different names and stuff. And that's it.
Because the past couple years, it's been kind of like a run first team, and obviously we don't know what this offense will be yet. But Eric Morris is obviously a guy who can come in and throw the ball. For you, are you more comfortable as a run blocker, pass protector? Just where do you see? How do you describe your strengths?
I think I'm more of a run blocker. I've always been like that throughout high school. I've just always wanted to come off the ball and stuff. And I think with Coach Morris coming in, we have a lot of running back depth too. So, and a good offensive line. So I think we'll take that as an advantage against other teams and just run the ball too.
What's it been like watching the quarterbacks go at it in the whole quarterback competition where everybody's getting a ton of reps?
Yeah, no, that's been fun. It's just all about finding who's going to step up, be the starter when it comes down to it. They've all done a really good job. I will say that.
Okay.
So like when you snap the ball, is there a difference between which quarterback? Like, is there do you have to like different heights?
No one's under center anymore,
Yeah.
There's
so like,
no more of
do you
that
have to like pay attention to that?
Not really. As long as like you get it like from the waist to the chest up, that's all.
Got it.
Really, yeah. That's where I just try to aim for.
It's a good point. Well, Jace is tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but the rest are about 6 foot 6'1" or so. So I guess
Mhm.
that's normal.
Yeah.
Um, what was I gonna ask here? Uh, you came in. You were the 2019 class, right?
2020.
2020 class. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Um, I'm trying to remember when you were recruited out of the Woodlands. Can you talk us through your kind of recruiting process, or how you were recruited, and just kind of what went into all that?
Yeah. So I think so. UNC was actually my first offer,
Mm-hmm.
and so that took a big part in coming here. But I think after my junior season is when I started really getting heavily recruited, and I think they offered me in January. So that was my first offer, and then really all the offers came that off season, after my junior season. So yeah,
How many visits did you go on with
I
like
took
other schools or?
yeah I took I took a couple visits. I only took one official, and that was here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you went unofficials. Did you go to any of the games of any other schools or anything like that?
Yeah, I went to a couple. I think I went. Man, I'm trying to think. That was a long time ago.
A long time ago. Yeah, 3 years.
Crazy 2020
Yeah,
is 3
that's
years
great. I've
ago.
been here. Yeah, I've been here 3 years. It doesn't even seem like that.
It does.
Right.
You got nothing on Larry Nixon and all the guys. I mean, even Jamari Macklin's going into his 4th year, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
Did
it's an old team.
did
yeah.
the obviously UNT was your first offer. Did that and the I guess did that have a play in you staying ultimately whenever the head coach swapped? And then what made you stay, I guess?
When Coach Morris came in,
Yeah.
you know, I really wasn't planning on leaving because of the coaching change at all. But even whenever I met like Coach Morris, I met Coach Cooper, I met really all the coaches. Like they're really great guys. Like there's no reason for me to leave really because I feel like I can exceed here, and I just love them honestly.
On the offensive line, who are obviously we know about Dazion Carroll, Casey Morocco, a few of the guys, Cole Brown and whatnot. Um, who are some of the new guys that you think are like, okay, that guy can come in and help us right away?
Yeah, I think I mean out of the new guys that came in, Paula, he's been doing good, and so has Larry. They both have been doing pretty good. So I think ultimately they could probably come in and step up, help us.
Are you gonna attempt to say Paula's last name?
Paula Vepula,
Oh yeah, you got it.
is that it?
Yeah, I
Is
mean, I
that
don't.
it?
I'm not really. I'm just looking at the name written down right here, and it looks like it's
Yeah,
exactly
sounding it
correct.
out, it looked right.
Yeah,
It looks right.
yeah. I went to a in high school. I went to a couple camps with him because I think he's from Houston too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure we met each other in high school before.
Yeah, Channel View. Um, as far as for the offensive line, we kind of talked about it already, but Jamori Macklin kind of came on. He was like, for the receivers, it's a lot more freedom and stuff like that as far as like the routes and whatnot. Uh, I'm just wondering, do you think for the quarterbacks, do you think it is more things to process than in like the last offense y'all were in?
Uh,
Or for you, I guess as a center, you calls and everything.
yeah. So are you saying like do the QBs like is it more like complex for them?
Yeah, basically.
Uh, I really don't know. I mean, I know they make a bunch of calls, like, because I know whenever we're in our stands, we stay down there for a long time. I'm sure they're just like checking up on the defense and stuff.
Hmm.
So it might be a little more complex, but I know they'll get through it.
Yeah. So it's not like we all aren't trying to like 7 seconds or less this offense. Like when the ball is down, y'all aren't just snapping and going. Y'all are kind
No,
of
yeah,
taking your
we're
time
kind
with
of
your
yeah,
read.
unless we're running tempo, but other than
Okay.
that, we got to make sure the play is all right and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Who on the defensive line gives you the biggest problems?
Mm.
Oh, that's a good question. I know. So Rod, because it was really at center, it was me and Rod just fighting it out really all spring. So it was a good competition for him, and then June has done a really good job too. I think he's improved a lot. I feel like, and then yeah, Cortland, all of them have really done a good job.
Yeah, it's a good defensive line right there.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think in this defense. Well, the new defense, it's been talked about a bunch, but we haven't seen it a bunch. Do they line up in zero tech often, or is it
Uh,
over the gap?
yeah, it's mainly head up and then
Okay.
wherever the ends go.
Okay. So yeah, right in your face,
Yes, sir.
just right
Yeah.
there. Um, what is one thing you want to continue to work on over this off season? Where do you want to improve on before the season gets here?
Moving up to new conference, I like to get probably my weight up a little bit. If I'm gonna be interior, I think I need to buff up a little bit. And then while that maintain my speed and stuff. But if I'm gonna be playing center, I'm gonna be working hard at that this off season for sure.
What's that look like trying to gain weight but also maintain fitness? Like, because obviously you just can't eat and not work out or anything like that. So
No,
how
yeah,
do you maintain that speed and quickness while also obviously getting heavier?
yeah, it's all. I mean, workout really every single day, basically, while eating the right food. Like no really junk food, no fast food, really. All like protein, everything like that.
You mentioned moving to the American. Is that kind of talked about amongst the returners, being like, this is going to be a new challenge for us?
I mean, it's gonna be new teams that we're facing a little bit, but like we're not scared at all or anything. We're equally as important as Tulane or whatever school is in there. Like we're gonna put up a challenge for them. I feel like.
Yeah. All right. Got anything else, Colin?
Outside of the last question that we always
Go,
ask.
go ahead.
All right. So every time we have someone on, we always ask them, "What's your hobby that you have?" And then what would be your second sport if you didn't play football?
My hobby, uh, man, I don't know. My hobby. I mean, of course, I like to work out and stuff, but I like fishing too.
Fishing.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's the biggest fish you've caught?
biggest fish. I've caught about like a 4 foot shark before.
A shark?
Yeah,
Where?
I'm big out of Galveston.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
I'm big.
awesome.
I'm big into like sea or bay fishing and stuff like that.
Dang.
Do you
That's
have a
awesome.
picture with this?
Oh man, I probably
You
don't.
know,
It
he's
was
just
a
trying to
couple
look
years
it up.
ago.
We need it for the thumbnail, Jett. We need it for the.
Man, I don't know if I do or not.
That's crazy. A shark?
That's funny.
What
Yeah,
kind
it
of shark was it? Like,
was
what's
a
up?
back to
Dang.
yeah.
That's crazy.
I
Interesting.
don't, but I do have this. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Dang.
Look
Yeah,
at that. Jeez, that's as tall as you
yeah,
in that picture. That is.
yeah.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
And what's your second sport?
Second
Sport
sport.
if you didn't play football.
Honestly, I might do track and field. Shot put and discus.
Okay.
See,
That,
Well,
so Rod said that to us, and he said he competed. Did he go to the meet?
where UNT or in high?
Yeah, yeah. He said
Oh,
he did shot put.
I don't know if he did or not at UNT.
let me see. Let me see what the
This is
date on it
ridiculous.
was, Colin.
Yeah,
We don't want to fall.
we might have to do a little
He told
competition.
us after this. When did he tell us, Bruni? He said, was it
Said
after
after the spring,
game?
but I don't remember the date.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is he's competing. He said he's competing for North Texas in shot put.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna have to fact check him on that because Larry came in and said he was like, I don't know about that one. I was like, okay.
I don't know about that one unless he
But-
did something. But yeah, we
All
might
right,
have to
well,
do
we
a
can
competition for that.
yeah, we can set it up. Set it up.
Yeah.
The green room classic of
The
shot
green
put. Just
room
Rod and Jett Duncan out
Yeah.
there
That's
shot
funny.
putting it up. Get Gabe Blair in there, get the whole
Get
crew.
the whole D line and the whole O line. Just
Hey,
have
Hey,
Where do you think you'd rank in terms of shot put out of everybody? Like not like number, but like mid tier. Are you top?
no, I'm top tier for sure.
Oh, okay.
Did you
Yeah.
throw in high school?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, man. We'll leave it there. We appreciate you joining us. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing how the offense line shakes out over the fall and everything. And best of luck to you this year.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me.
All right. Thanks, Jett.
Yes, sir.
All right, Colin. Let's get to some transfer news. The transfer portal closed officially a few days ago, and in doing so, it was a scramble across the country of players entering the portal and making their final decisions. Spring football is over for everybody. We talked about that in the last podcast, but we saw two huge players for North Texas enter the portal. We saw linebacker Larry Nixon and wide receiver Jyaire Shorter both enter the portal. Now, we had Larry Nixon on the podcast 2 weeks ago, and we caught some flack, some blame,
Some
as
little
to
meme.
why he was entering the portal was because of us, Colin.
Yeah. What did we say something wrong?
Right? I'm gonna go back and watch the film, and I feel
It's
like
because
there's gonna be a moment in there where he's like,
it's because he got called out about Broad possibly doing shot put. That's what it was.
yeah. So those two enter the portal. I don't know which one we start with. Let's start with Larry since we were talking about him.
Okay.
Larry Nixon obviously projected to be the starting linebacker, projected to be for one of the best players on the defense, I'd say. And we had him on a podcast, and we even asked him. We said, "Hey, why do so many people haven't entered? Why have players not entered the portal?"
Yeah.
He's like, because we're tight, all that stuff, blah blah blah. Everybody's tight. Um, the thing is, I completely believe him that they are tight. Like, you don't have that kind of relationship with Rod Brown, with everybody, if you're not tight with them. Ultimately, this comes down to trying to see if other schools, maybe big schools, which he has been offered by. I don't have his offer list in front of me, but he started tweeting him out of Miami. And if you go to his Twitter, he has offers from big schools, and he wants to see what's out there, what's available. Now, is this the whole situation where we're talking about him potentially, schools reaching out when he's not in the portal, which isn't allowed, tampering potentially? I think all of that's very, very much on the table, but that is kind of the world we live in right now, where schools will be saying that because as soon as he decommitted, or as soon as he entered the transfer portal, he tweeted out, I think, 2 or 3 offers, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have his Twitter in front of you?
I do, but he retweets a lot.
Well,
So
just go to media and scroll down.
oh, that's a good idea. Media.
I swear, Colin's technological savvy is not where it used to be.
It's basically on par with you now, for sure.
You didn't even know about the media tab on Twitter, so I don't know about that one. Do you have it?
I'm still going.
All right.
He really does just tweet a lot, anyways.
All right. Well, regardless, the point stands while Colin tries to find
Where
them.
did you see anything? The last media tweet he had was from December 21st, 2022.
Hold on.
Unless I'm on a
I'll get it. Yeah, send me Larry Nixon's Twitter. Actually, I don't even know where it is. Regardless, Colin, let's talk about it. We
Yeah.
gotta talk. We have to multitask.
I'm working on it.
Do I think this is a big deal for North Texas? Honestly, when I look at the big picture of this upcoming season, if they don't have Larry Nixon on this team, I don't think it's that big of a deal. We mentioned it with Katie Davis, right? My belief, and people can say I'm wrong, my belief is that with linebackers, they are more so a product of the defense and opportunity than anything else. The defensive line is far more important than the linebackers to me. The secondary is also kind of a product of the defense, but ultimately, if you have one lockdown corner,
Yeah.
it changes the complexion of your defense. And to me, the similar way that I felt about Katie Davis potentially leaving last year is how I feel about Larry Nixon. And Katie Davis is better than Larry Nixon. And so ultimately, this is not a shot at Larry Nixon because I think he's a very good player and he's going to go play at a very good school and be very, very productive and all that good stuff. He'll be fine. I'm just saying, I don't care what linebackers you have there, as long as they have some experience, they have some talent. As long as you don't fall off a cliff when you go from starters to bench, I think they're going to be fine. You still have Kevin Wood in the room. You still have plenty of talent there. And I just don't think it's that big of a loss, personally.
I have his offers. Auburn,
Okay.
Miami, and Cincinnati.
Okay.
That's what he's had so far. So there's your 3. I am actually going to disagree with you. I think this is not a huge loss, but it's an important loss because, one, you're moving up to the conference. You lost Katie Davis. Yeah, he was a product of the defense, and his numbers could have been inflated based off of other things, which we've talked about a lot. But I think that it's important for this team, based on what we've seen in the past, to have good tacklers. And although I think there's guys on the line in the linebacking core that can tackle well, losing a good one hurts. I feel like, especially if God forbid, injuries or you need to sub somebody out for a play or two. That makes all the difference in the defense that we've seen in the past. Obviously, I don't know how they're going to be now, but a missed tackle usually goes for 60 yards in the past
Yeah.
by a linebacker, and a missed tackle by the line automatically got taken by Katie Davis, and if Katie Davis missed that tackle, the most time it went for who knows how long. So that's my end concern, is not necessarily the impact him himself does, but you lose a tackler, and I think that that's important.
My concern would be his experience, but Kevin Wood is a senior. Carson Kropp is. Didn't he say he's older than Larry? Didn't Larry tell us that Carson's older
Yeah,
than
he's
him?
older. He's
Okay,
also
Carson
a senior.
Kropp, who had a good spring. Jordan Brown, who's a junior, who I loved as a freshman and sophomore. So, potentially if he gets more opportunities. That's 3 right there. Now, their inside linebacker depth is a little shallow. Like, I'm just, if you look through it, it's a lot of outside linebackers, I feel, in this kind of scheme. Whether it's like C. Filiota and players like that. Jax Van Zant, as a redshirt freshman, we liked him a lot out of high school, but I don't know. We'll have to see how he fits in. Regardless, the offensive line or the depth of the linebacker group is a little shaky at this point. But I think from an experience standpoint, they're fine. And obviously, like I said, I feel good about the defensive line still. And so I'm not going to waver on the linebackers, potentially taking a step down. Like, I think that it's just, like you said, opportunity to me of playing time for a guy like Kevin Wood and Jordan Brown and Carson Kropp. I think those 3 are going to be able to hold it down pretty well. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm still confident. Obviously, we have not seen this defense. We haven't seen their role in this defense, but in theory, if you have, which it's a 3-3-5, you have three defensive linemen like a Rod Brown, Enoch Jackson, June Vela, Corlin
You just
Ross.
call him June.
Just call him June. Don't even say the last name.
That's what they said.
Yeah. You have that kind of talent on the defense line. I think they're okay. I think they're going to be fine.
Do you, excuse me? Do you think they try to replace Larry Nixon in the transfer portal, or do you think that they use it to address a different position?
I think so. I would think so. There's a lot of linebackers out there. The question I have is, can you get them here? And this is something for all of college football, is when you add players over the summer, there's a very expedited process in bringing them in and getting them involved in your defense, integrated in your defense. So that's why it's going to be interesting. That's why some transfers late don't work out. I'm very big on you get them here in the first cycle and they have the spring to work with.
Yeah.
I just think that's so valuable. And so they're not going to have that benefit. But if you can add a talented linebacker, I think you have to do it. Like, I think they're going to be aggressive for it. Now, could they add a junior college linebacker or something like that? I don't know. I would prefer, if you go get a low end or an FCS linebacker or something like that with some experience, they are going to need some depth there, in my opinion.
All right. Moving on to Jyaire Shorter, Bruni.
Yeah.
I feel like he had been here forever. He entered the transfer portal, averaged like 26 yards a catch, whatever it was. I don't remember off the top of my head. But we all know what he was. He's deep threat that caught touchdowns. How big of a loss is this for you?
This is a much bigger loss to me. And I don't say that because the North Texas wide receiver room is bad. I actually think it's a very good wide receiver room. I think a guy like Jamoy Macklin, who we've talked about, can step up, be very, very good. Detravian Brown, high on him. There's a lot of players I'm high on in this room. My concern is with the potential top-end talent that Jyaire Shorter had. When I look at Jyaire Shorter and I say, that's a guy who could be an all-conference wide receiver in the American, I don't know how many of these receivers I say that about.
Yeah.
Like if they hit their ceiling, are they an all-conference receiver? I think Jyaire Shorter, if he hits his ceiling, is an all-conference receiver. And that's where it's like all these receivers we have are good. They're not Jyaire shorter to me. Like, I think Ja'More Macklin can step in at 5'11 and be really, really good. Travion Brown, same thing. Go down the list of receivers. I think there's a lot of capable guys here. But ultimately, Jyaire Shorter is 6'4", an explosive playmaker that I think had the potential to put up incredible numbers and be a wide receiver 1 for this team. So you lose that. Now you're relying on a guy like Trey Cleveland who transferred in. You're relying on a guy like, in my opinion, Ziegler McMillan to come in and start to show what he is. Damon Ward step up. Because we know what you're getting out of Ja'More Macklin. I think you know what you're getting out of Travion Brown, Rod Burns, Jordan Smart. Those, to me, those 5'10", 5'11", 6-foot receivers, you know what you're getting. But like, now they only have one receiver over 6'1" on their roster, and that's Trey Cleveland.
So, and you also lost Tommy Bush as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to start this by saying I disagree with you, but now after going through because I'm looking at the roster, I also agree with you because, like you said, he's the guy that can completely change the way a game is played out. I mean, his big play potential was insane. I do think the receivers are good. I agree with you with that. But do you think there's anyone on the roster currently that can fulfill that role, at least as a stopgap?
We have to hope Trey Cleveland does, I think. And we heard good things about him coming out of spring, but
yeah,
I think Trey Cleveland's going to, like, literally, there's no other receiver on here over 6'1".
Yeah.
Ziegler McMillan is 6'1". No one else is over 6 foot.
Travion Brown's 6 feet tall. But,
well, yeah. I think if we go through the wide receiver depth chart, just off the top of my head, it's Ja'More Macklin in no particular order. Starters: Ja'More Macklin, probably Travion Brown, and Trey Cleveland.
Yeah.
Potentially it's like a top 3 if you're doing like a top 3. Rod Burns will always be there. Damon Ward always be there. Jordan Smart always be there. Based off of what they did last year and the year before that. But like, and again, that's a good receiver room. But it's not to the point where we were looking at with Jyaire Shorter and Tommy Bush and be like, okay, we got some guys in here that are P5 quality here. So yeah. I don't know. Like, again, I think Ja'More Macklin's obviously P5 quality, came from Missouri. Like, there's no questions here about what they can do.
What do you mean that physical receiver?
6'4", big play.
Yeah.
Could average 20 yards of reception. That's my question.
Yeah.
And some people might watch that and be like, oh, well, you don't know how good Ja'More Macklin is. You don't know how good Travion Brown is. I think those guys are really good. I think personally Jyaire Shorter is the best receiver. Was the best receiver on this roster.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, you just put it in the perspective of, imagine the best receiver now is plays like a Jalen Darden, right? Jalen Darden wasn't going to go up and grab a ball away from a corner or a safety, I should say. If the chances were lower, contest in the red zone.
I do think that Travion Brown has high potential.
Yeah.
To step up and step into different roles for this team. His speed is awesome. He's a really, really good playmaker. Similar, obviously, Jordan Smart. We learned about him last year. Ja'More Macklin, route running, can create separation, really good hands. We know what he is. Like, those are the two for me that I'm looking at. Like, all right, it's Macklin Brown.
Yeah.
Like, that's for me where I'm looking. And there's probably someone else that I'm not including. I've already said Damon Ward and Trey Cleveland as two more that I'm really high on. Obviously, Kalen Horton was a guy who got a lot of those like jet sweep type looks and was a return man. But yeah, those guys and Ziegler McMillan are my picks. I mean, it's just going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see, because then you have a lot of transfers that we don't quite know enough about.
Yeah.
Like, if you go down the list, transfers from Abilene Christian, Illinois State, Oklahoma Panhandle, Texas Tech, like with Trey Cleveland. So it's an interesting room now at this point. It feels new, that much I'll say. Even though there's a lot of returners, it feels new because the past couple years have been like, okay, Tommy Bush, Jyaire Shorter. Like, those are the two guys. If nothing else, we can rely on them.
Yeah.
Now it's Macklin Brown Burns, Ward. It's crazy Rod Burns is still on this team.
Yeah, what year is he on? Let's see. Obviously a senior.
It's got to be just
Let's see.
18,
2018 is
18,
when he
19,
redshirted.
20, 21, 22. This will be 23. 6 year.
Dang.
Shout
That
out
is
Rod Burns.
crazy.
Shout out Rod Burns. Also, before we get to basketball, Varkey's Gums decommits from Arkansas. I don't know the story there. I don't even know if people want to talk
Oh, he
about it. But
decommitted?
yeah,
Oh,
weirdly
wow.
enough. So, we'll see where he ends up. I thought that was a good fit over there, but a lot of teams need tight ends. There's one thing I've learned over this off season. All right, let's talk basketball real quick. John Buggs the third commits to Ross Hodge at North Texas. The first commitment, the first portal addition for Ross Hodge and North Texas basketball. Comes off a year where he averaged 10 points per game at UTSA, shot 40% from three on 200 attempts. I remember watching him at times throughout the year and being like, okay, that guy can score.
Yeah.
And that UTSA team, it didn't play much defense. I'm going to blame the coaching staff on that. But they have John Buggs, who I think is going to be a very good player. I think I told you this. If he plays defense, he's a great pickup. And
yeah.
I don't think you commit to North Texas. I don't think you commit to Ross Hodge if you don't want to play defense.
Yeah, unless you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, you know what you're getting into. So if he plays defense, this is an elite shooter and someone who can open up the offense in a lot of ways. So I love this pickup for them. But if you go through UTSA real quick, you have John Buggs, DJ Richards committed to McNeese State. Will Wade. I know that's why I know that. And then Jacob Germany committed to Wichita State. So we'll see him in the American again. The team had talent. They just were very poorly coached and poorly ran. So before anybody gets on here and says, oh, you pick up a UTSA guy, how good can he be?
Yeah.
40% shooters don't grow on trees. They just don't. 40% three-point shooters with the difficulty of shots that he was taking last year. Let's also remember, it's not like they were running some beautiful Princeton offense and getting wide open looks from three.
Yeah.
Right? Go watch the film on him. There were some contested shots. So you get a 40% three-point shooter. And like I said, if he plays defense, this is a huge pickup for North Texas. I love it.
Yeah, let me just give you some conference stats from last season. Second in field goal percentage, 39.6%. 17th in from three. I'm sorry. Yep. 17th in true shooting percentage last year. And he was sixth in field goal attempts and fourth in makes. Yeah. And not only that, he can play. He can play 31 minutes a game. So the energy is there. And I like his length. I like that he's 6'3". I like that we're, getting bigger at the guard position, obviously with Tyler Perry leaving. I'm very excited for this pickup, but I would really I want to see I want to see more, because obviously you still have to replace Kai, for example. Obviously you got Tyler, you already have to replace Abu. You have to replace. I mean, those are contributors. Those weren't just obvious. I mean, obviously Tyler and Kai and Abu, right? So obviously you bring back Mulai. Where do you think this team is after getting
also lose Tyree Eady?
Also, Tyree Eady, who played didn't make a lot of shots, but he defended a lot of shots.
Let's talk. I mean, and you said Jaden Martinez as well. It's going to have to be a rebuild, right? We talked about this, but if they have Reuben Jones, honestly, like yes, I think they need a point guard. Worst case, you just throw Reuben at the one.
Well, do you think he's ready to be at the one?
This is the question here. Reuben playing the one is very different from Javion Hamlet and Tyler Perry. They've had scoring guards, and Ryan Woolridge too, let's not forget. They've had scoring point guards their entire tenure at North Texas.
Well, Ryan wasn't really.
He led the team, or Rose led the team in scoring, but he was a scoring guard.
I mean, he got more. He averaged like 6 assists a game. Like when he went to Gonzaga, he didn't score.
Okay, but that's Gonzaga.
I feel like that's a product of a team around him, not because he didn't look to score.
But he was they want their guards to score and attack.
Fair enough.
I think that's the fair argument. So all I'm saying is that they've always had guards looking to score at the point guard position. Yeah. If Reuben Jones is your point guard, which I would love, it's just a change. It's very different. But imagine an offense where you have Reuben Jones at the 1, you have John Buggs at the 2, you have somebody else at the 3, and then you have Aaron Scott and Mulai Sissoko. That's a
Yeah,
pretty
that's pretty good.
good
Not
team.
only that, that's probably. I mean, I haven't done enough research into what the guards look like in the AAC, but I mean, when you think about it, like Ruben, great defender, and
Yeah.
if he's able to take another step in that offensive playmaking, and then you add great shooter who'd probably be top 5 in the conference in shooting next year. Listen, that's a crazy backcourt.
Yeah. Now, like I said, they're gonna go add another guard, point guard or otherwise. They're probably gonna add another wing, and they're probably gonna add a center. Like those are just locks. They're gonna have to add those. I don't have the numbers in front of me of how many players they have because I don't even know what players like. Obviously, Rasheed Brown is done, but like this was an old team.
Mm-hmm.
If we assume guys like Christian Moore is coming back, a guy like Chris Morgan is coming back, that fills it up a little bit. But if nothing else, they're probably right now at what 7 players, 8 players,
That can play, yeah.
and I haven't even looked at their incoming freshman class actually, so I don't know. But there's plenty of space. That's what I'm trying to say. There's plenty of space here on the roster. So this won't be the last news. This is very much the first domino to fall. I think this is a really, really big deal, and I'm excited. 11 points per game. They're gonna need scoring. Ruben, obviously, when you were Kai and Tyler gone, even Abu gone,
Yeah.
you're gonna need scores. So I hope they realize that with their wing addition and other guard addition, because you can move Ruben around.
Yeah.
So I would look for another point guard personally.
With the pickup of Bugs, obviously you're going to want him to play defense. Does it give you an idea of how Ross wants to play?
I don't think so. I don't think it does, but the next ones, well, I think we'll see who they pick up at center.
Yeah.
Because if they pick up another Abu/Zach type center where it's like back to the basket type, not that athletic, then it could just be like that's what he likes at the 5, and that kind of dictates everything else. But I'm with Muley. If you go get another athletic center, I mean, you can start to really, really start have some rim protection and some lob threats, and it's just a different offense you can run there. So
100%.
it'll be interesting. All right. Anything else before we go?
Don't think so.
I don't think so either. All right. That's all we got for y'all today. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Sorry, I was sick. We fought through it. Had to get this out. Contractually obligated now, Colin, to get these out.
Amazing.
So, no excuses. But yeah, thank y'all for joining us. Leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you're listening on the Republic of Football Podcast Network. I don't know if you saw, Colin, I put out on our podcast feed a reminder for those who haven't already switched over to do that. But yeah, the YouTube is the easiest place to follow us, and if you're watching this on YouTube, we greatly appreciate it. Leave us a like, comment, share, subscribe, follow us on Twitter at GreenRoomUNT. Our Twitters are right there, Matthew Brune _ CJH Mitchell. We'll be back next week with another episode. We'll look at some guests to get. I think we're out of players now. But yeah, thank you to Jett Duncan. Thank you to all the guests that have come on over the past week. And we will talk to y'all later.